Greetings, greetings. Gods, humans, earth spirits. My name is Courtney, and I am sharing with you from the vast beauty of the desert to introduce you to one of the most useful plants that can be found here. Often when you think of desert, you immediately think of that bad boy right there. They're everywhere. And we are very familiar with the cactus. But a little less known, usually growing in the same environments, is this plant. It resembles the aloe vera, but this is not an aloe plant. If we get closer, we will actually see that it too is related to that cactus. This is the Agave palmari plant, and like most things here in the desert, it has spikes along the ribbon of its leaves as a protection, as well as leaves that come to points that are sharp enough to pierce through your skin. So I am going to show you all how to make use of this plant in a survival situation where you may need a needle and thread. The Agave palmari have been used very extensively in Native American, Native Mexican cultures, not only for the cordage that I'm going to show you guys how to render for yourselves, but also as food, medicine, and drink. So I intend to show you how to handle this carefully without hurting yourself, how to process it effectively to make fiber, and how to then use the cord that you have made with the built-in needle that comes with it. So let's get started. So I have made a stand for my phone to set with rocks, so you have to bear with me in this environment. The tools that I have to make this convenient for me are a knife and I actually am cheating a bit because I have these. Okay. This is not something that we came hiking or camping with. It's actually something that we found along the road that has been very useful for us trimming firewood and for projects like this. So, to begin, I am going to select a healthy leaf that is the length of the cordage that I hope to make. So if I need longer cord, I am going to avoid these smaller ones, and I am going to go for the ones that are wider, thicker, and at the outside of the plant, the outskirts. Okay? And this, like I said, this is not an easy task. You want to have something that you can cut through this with, and again, carefully to avoid hurting or poking yourself with the spikes. And even using these shears, I am having a difficult time cutting through these fibers, which gives you an early indication of how tough the cord will be that you create. So I have cut through one side, and I am going to go around and cut from the other. a pretty good cutted space that I'm now going to finish up with my knife. What's happening is this is basically what's severing the inner cords. Those shears cut through a lot of the fleshy part and left the cords that this knife is handling with a little bit more ease. And here is our leaf that we'll be working with. Okay. All right. Now, this rock is my workspace, and it's helpful to have a space that has an edge. You will make use of that with cleaning off your cord. And just to give you an idea of what the finished product will be, I have some that is currently drying now. I've bundled up. So this is what you can expect after processing a leaf, and that's what we are about to do now. So again, I have my knife, and the first thing that we are going to do is trim off the spikes that are along the ribbon of the leaf. And we'll take off the tip. And that's your first indication of that cordon quality that we are going for. You see, the needle or the tip actually comes with an initial thread that you can render and make use of. So now this is what we have, and we are going to start to take off this outer layer because we want to get to all of that cord that's hidden under that flesh in there. Okay, so if you notice, this outer more muted green color, grayish green, is actually a paper type quality that you can peel off. And if you can do so gently, you can actually make use of it as maybe a sort of bandage. I'm trying to get some good light for you all to see just exactly what I'm speaking on. There we go. This can serve as a bandage, which is perfect because the sap is good for wounds. So in the event that you were hurt and you had a wound that you wanted to have heal more quickly, the flesh and the juices of this would be good to put on that and just cover over with the skin that you can peel off if you go gently. But we're not wanting the skin right now. We are wanting the yarn, or not the yarn, the string or the cordage. So we are going to take this off a little bit quicker with the knife. Okay, now I think we have processed that pretty well. We still have this other side. And usually I don't go through the same work of removing it from the side because now I have access to what I am going after. And what I'll do now is start to pull these fibers from this back part that's still intact. So we'll remove what we've peeled off from our little work surface. And now we are going to start to peel. And we've collected all of this fiber now to be processed. Now this is where the rock comes in, because for this process you're going to want to have a rock or a really good set of nails to clear off some of this flesh. I wonder if you can see me if I go this way. No, that's not the best place. Let's see. So, I'm going to take my fiber and the edge of a rock, and we're just going to kind of clean it off. And look what that rock does. That's rubbing it against that rock, cleared a lot of that flesh, and gave us these loose fibers. I will do a fine tuning of what the job was with my nail. I just kind of rubbing it along it. And then we have our first pieces of cord from the leaf that we'd harvest. I'm just gonna finish up and complete my next bundle, and then I'll show you all how to make use of it. Alright, so I'm back at my workspace, and I have here the fabric that my tent is made of. This comes in the tent bag, and we were using it as like a mat to step out on, and I am just going to use this to demonstrate the strength of our cord and our needle point. Okay, so this is I believe it's polyester, a type of vinyl, I'm not certain, but it's pretty thick. It's like a plastic, right? So I wanted to have something that was a lot more strong or sturdy than cloth to kind of demonstrate the strength of our supplies. Now, unlike a regular needle, you don't have an eye to thread through. So in place of the eye, we're going to utilize this thicker end to poke holes where we want them for our primitive method of sewing. Okay. I'm going to show you what it would be like to combine these two panels of vinyl with our thread. You poke a hole, you thread through it, and that's how you create your weave. Say I'm patching up a hole. Start it. That's our first. We want the second one to go. We just poke next to it. And you see how easy it is to pierce through. Another cool thing with this natural cording is if you are familiar with ribbon for like wrapping gifts, and how you can coil and curl it with your scissor edge, this is pretty cool because you can do the same thing with your nail. So I had a end that if it were yarn, it would have probably been frayed and you would have cut it. But because I'm using this very flexible natural cording, I was able to just rub my finger along it and straighten it and get it through the hole, no problem. That one looks like it can be widened a bit. Let's widen that up. When you have those many problems trying to thread it, just make the hole huge. There we go. That should help. Now, there was a very good question posed by my daughter about how to thread something that you would need a longer cord for. The threads are so short. And I let her know that we would have to combine them. So, showing you how to add on the piece of cord to continue. And again, it's just a really thin cording. So, it takes So we've attached another piece. I just knotted it together. Unfortunately, it is so thin that the knotted piece does not make it much thicker than it already is. And we just keep going and tightening it as we move along. And again, if you need to make your holes large enough to see through so that it's easier to thread. That's fine. It seems like it closes pretty well around it once you've threaded it. That's our knot from our attached piece that we can trim later. And see how well it's going. Holding. And that, you guys, is threading ensuing with our agave pulmonary foraged cordage. I hope this was useful. I hope it has inspired you to get outside and try something new. Be curious, be adventurous, and hope, peace, love, light. Until next time, I am Courtney.